Big story tonight, of course, America's longest war is now over. Over the course of 20 years, more than 2,400 Americans lost their lives in Afghanistan. And this afternoon, the final U.S. planes left the country. NewsNation Washington, D.C. correspondent Allison Harris joining us now. So, Allison, the war is over, but the unrest continues.
It does, Nicole, and up until the very end, the threat for U.S. troops on the ground at the airport in Kabul remained high. The drawdown of U.S. troops is now complete, but the effort to rescue Americans who are still in Afghanistan is underway. It is ongoing, even without U.S. troops on the ground. America's longest war is over.
The last C-17 lifted off from Hamid Karzai International Airport on August 30th, this afternoon, at 3:29 p.m.
General McKenzie making the announcement that for the first time in 20 years, U.S. troops are out of Afghanistan. But an estimated 250 Americans who want to get out remain unable to make the last few flights out.
We were not able to bring any Americans out. That activity ended probably about 12 hours before our exit, although we continued the outreach and would have been prepared to bring them on until the very last minute, but none of them made it to the airport and were able to be accommodated.
The State Department still vowing those Americans won't be left behind. The withdrawal of troops became the largest airlift ever, led by the U.S. Frantic, chaotic, and botched, according to critics of the president. The White House says more than 120,000 lives were saved, rescuing Afghans who helped the U.S. and roughly 6,000 U.S. citizens. But thousands of Afghan allies are left behind. The U.S. and more than 100 countries now coming together in an agreement to pressure the Taliban to allow safe passage out of the country for any Americans or Afghan allies who remain there.
We have an enormous amount of leverage, including access to the global marketplace, which is not a small piece of leverage.
On the ground, in an Afghan TV interview, Taliban militants stand armed, calling on Afghans not to flee. Up to the last minute of the evacuation effort, the Pentagon warning of real threats after the president received the bodies of 11 of the 13 military members, all age 31 and under, killed in a suicide bombing outside the airport by ISIS-K, bringing the U.S. service member death toll to 2,461. The U.S. launched airstrikes targeting ISIS-K Sunday, and there are now questions whether this burning car was used to fire 5 rockets at U.S. troops at the airport. U.S. forces intercepted 1 rocket. Another made it through U.S. defenses, but did no damage and caused no casualties. Right now, there is no plan for even a diplomatic presence to remain in Afghanistan.
The president has made it clear that our combat mission, the war we have been fighting in Afghanistan, that's going to end. And it's going to end very soon here. But what's not going to end is our commitment, especially here at the Defense Department, to protect the American people from threats, and particularly from any terrorist threat that could emanate from Afghanistan.
The Taliban is now expected to take full control of the country. A Taliban spokesperson tweeting, "Our country has gained full independence." And some breaking news, the White House just released a statement in which President Biden says he will make remarks to the American people tomorrow about his decision to not extend the deadline beyond August 31st, saying that that decision was unanimous with the Joint Chiefs and commanders on the ground in Afghanistan, saying it was the best way to protect the security of U.S. troops who were in Afghanistan and also protect the future prospect of some of those Americans and Afghan allies getting safe passage out of the country. Nicole?
Yeah, we certainly look forward to those comments from the president. All right, Allison, thank you.